Hello. Awkward way to start my first video, but on this channel. But hello, if you do not know who I am Hinata Shoyo. I cannot disclose my actual name here, so please just call me Hinata Shoyo. Or that Haikyuu fan, or that random ass cosplayer that I follow, or whatever the fuck you want to call me. If you actually know my name, please do not call me by my name, or else you will get an immediate block. Yes, I am actually serious about that, because I do not want to disclose my actual name on here. And I will not disclose my email or phone number. But please, if you do know who I am, do not, and I am emphasizing on this, do not call me by my actual name in the comments. It kind of sounds like I'm losing my voice. I'm not losing my voice. I'm just talking really quietly because I'm bored as fuck. And I don't know what the hell to do. So I'm talking really quietly just for those reasons. And yes, I am doing my makeup. Just like I said, I am bored as fuck. You could say this is a kid-friendly channel because I swear a lot. But then again, I'm doing cosplay, so yeah, this isn't kid-friendly at all. I'm doing cosplays and swearing. So I'm gonna be talking today about random ass shit that I do in my spare time because fuck yeah. Yes, I know this is mascara. I'm using it on my eyebrows just because I'm wearing a black wig today and I need black eyebrows. And besides that, this will give me like my basic shape. Oh damn. Okay, so this works just by doing this. How about I do a little story time about my toxic ex-boyfriend named Corbin. Because I know for a fact he doesn't punch my videos, and if he does, hi honey, fuck you. Yes, I know this looks stupid as fuck. Alright, let's start off with the random ass shit that he used to say to me and what he used to do to my friends. So, this was last year. I'm in 7th grade. We're both in 7th grade. This was last year in 6th grade. I dated him in 6th grade. Yes, I know. I was too stupid to date last year, so I didn't know he was toxic at the time. But now looking back on it, I'm just like, well, at least I got my revenge in the end. So, this was like early 6th grade when we first met. I started talking with him and his friend, and I became friends with both of them at the same time. So at that time, we were dumbasses, and I didn't like him all that much at that time. I did kind of think he was attractive, though, but I didn't have a crush on him. Yes, you're going to be hearing me sink. a lot as well. But I didn't have a crush on him at all. So me and his friend Ace, I know he doesn't watch my videos either. If he did, both of you, y'all are assholes. Both of them are assholes. But, Corbin more so an asshole than Ace. Me and my friends used to make fun of Ace. And yes, I know it's not very holy and Asahi-like of me. And not very Hinata of me. But then again, they would both make fun of me and my friend group, so we just decided, you know what, fuck you, we're gonna make fun of you as well. So we poked fun at Corbin and said that he was gay and all that because he was gay. Like, he was fucking gay. Like, he didn't look gay, per se, but he would point out guys that were hot to me. And he would point out, like, I think he's bi, or he's gay, but he just doesn't want to admit it, so he calls himself straight and all that shit. So me and him didn't hit it off right away at all. So, like, it was me and him, like, we were friends, we were talking, we were being stupid and all of that, like, we were friends. Well, then I decided, you know what, fuck it. I might as well date him because I'm making fun of him, and if I date him, then I can get more dirt on him. Well, turns out, dating him was a mistake. Yes, I know I'm using eyeshadow for blush. Dating him was a huge-ass mistake. Because not only would he be an asshole to me about the littlest shit. This looks intense as fuck. And with my natural blush, because I'm thinking about my boyfriend and how stupid we are. So with my natural blush, it looks more intense. But, not only was he a bitch in general, like talking to his friends and all that, leaving me behind, being an asshole to me if I ever so talked to one of my guy friends and I told him about it. I was just overall like, fuck. I was overall in a bad situation with him. With the being queer and like questioning my sexuality and all of that. Well, I found out later on that I was bisexual and I had fallen for my friend Caden. Yes, I am calling him Caden because that is the name he prefers. He is trans. Sorry, Caden, I am disclosing your gender identity. But Yeah. So I found out that I was bisexual, and I had fallen for one of my friends, Caden, and all of that. And I didn't tell Corbin this. I just knew it, and I did not tell him at all. Because if I told him, he would find every fucking mistake that I have ever made and use it against me. And he would, like, poke fun at me more and more than what he already did. Because, like, he already poked fun at me. So he would poke fun at me more than what he already did. So I just let it be. I didn't tell anyone except for him, except for Caden. Corbin overheard, and he was livid. Like, he found out, and he was just like, so, are you breaking up with me? Like, this, and this. And I'm just like, no, babe, it's not that. I'm just queer, and I'm questioning my sexuality, so... And all of that. I didn't mean to fall for her at the time. He identified it with the she, her pronouns. So I was just like, well, at that time, so I was just like, I didn't mean to fall for her, da 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 da. You already know when you have to say sorry for questioning your sexuality and for being queer to your own boyfriend, that it's a bad relationship. I didn't know that at the time. So while I was in that badass relationship, I was talking to one of my friends. Let's call her Kageyama. I'm calling her Kageyama. At that time, I was talking to one of my friends, Kageyama. And, like, me and her were hanging out and all this shit. So me and her were hanging out, talking. We were having a sleepover. And this shit happened. Like, me and Corbin don't, like, text. But after that day when I went back to school, I found out that he was cheating on me. So the next day, like, he came back from camp that day. Like, my school did this camp thing. So he came back from camp that day. So when he got back from camp, I greeted him. I said, hey, babe, I missed you, and all this shit. Like, being sappy. Like, I was being sappy as fuck. Like, I was a sappy little bitch back then. If I could go back and change that, I would. But I can't. What's in the past is in the past, and I cannot change the fact that I was sappy back then. Like, I was sappy as fuck. So, I didn't find out for, like, a couple of days that he was cheating on me. But when I did find out, it was in the dumbest fucking way possible. He said, oh yeah, my new girlfriend. He was talking to one of his friends. He said, oh yeah, me and my new girlfriend. She's cuter than my last one. She's super cute. I honestly thought he was talking about me. So it's just like, oh, babe. Like, I was sitting next to him, and I was just like, oh, babe. And I was blushing and all of this shit. And then he continued to talk. He said that she was cuter than me because she had a bandage on her arm right here because she burned herself. My friend Maya, who was sitting right next to me, overheard this fucking conversation he was having with his friend, looked at him and said, "Corbin, you are so fucking dead at lunch." And I said, no, BB. Like, this is how I talk to my friends. I was just like, no, we are bad bitches. We will get through this. We won't hurt him. We will make him regret his decision to cheat on me. And that is what we did. And I was a single Pringle for like a month. So, let's fast forward to that day at lunch. Well, technically, after lunch, like recess, we had like 15 minutes to go outside after lunch and all of that shit. Like, we normally do that now, too. In my new school. But me and Maya were like talking and all this shit, and we found this girl. And I said, "Hey, do you know a guy named Corbin?" And she said, "Yeah, I'm dating him, but he's like talking to this other bitch." And I said, "Yeah, I'm that other bitch. Like, you're his side chick." And all of that. So she told me all the details from camp and all of that because she went to camp as well. And me and her got to talking and all this shit. So me and her got to talking and all of that. Like, me and her became friends. Technically, me and her became friends. Within that 5 minutes of us talking. Because we were talking for 5 freaking minutes. So within those 5 minutes of us talking, me and her became friends. And I said, "Hey, so since you're technically his side chick, you want to go up to him and all of that and like say, 'Hey, babe, who's this?' And then say, 'Oh my God, am I your side chick?' And all of that. Like, you want to do that?" And she said, "Oh, hell yeah." And so we did that. Like, we both went up to him and said, "Hey, babe, who's this?" He tried to explain and all of that, but then she was just like, "Oh my God, am I your side chick?" Like, she did it all dramatically and all of that. And he said, no, babe, you're not. She's not even my girlfriend. Like, we fake broke up to prank, like, my friends and all that. Like, my friends warned me that he was toxic. Like, they were just like, "I have a bad feeling about him. Don't date him." Well, guess what? I didn't listen to them, so I dated him anyways. So we were So he looked at me and he said, "Yeah, we're not even dating." And I said, "Excuse me, bitch. Explain to me why the fuck you keep on telling your friends that I'm your bitch and that we made out at camp when I wasn't even there." And he had the look of, "Oh shit, I was found out," on his face. And I said, "Yeah, explain that." And one of his friends came up behind me. His name is Aiden. He probably doesn't watch my videos either. Well, this is my first video, but he probably doesn't even know I exist anymore. So, like, he came up behind me and said, "Yeah, that's a low blow, dude. She wasn't even there. I was there with you. She wasn't even there. So why do you keep on telling every one of us in your friend group that you and her were making out and doing the deed?" Like, he kept on saying that me and him were doing the deed. Like, we were getting it on in his cabin and all that shit. And he said, "Well, it's because I wish you were there." and I found someone that looked like you, so I kind of thought that it was you, and I said, bitch, I even told you beforehand that I wasn't gonna be there. And he said, well, you should have been there, then we could have done it. And I said, excuse me, ho, I don't even know if I want to have sex with you. And all that shit. So, like, we were arguing back and forth and all of that. Like, just me and him arguing back and forth. This girl went up to him, said, hey, babe, you want to get up out of here? She's kind of scaring me. He said, yeah, sure, baby. Anything for you and my doll. I'm just like, disgusting ass hoe. And she's just like, oh. I even said it out loud. I was just like, oh, disgusting bitch. And she turned to me and winked and then walked off. I was just like, oh, I know what you're doing. So him and her walked off and all that shit. Like, him and her walked off and da 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 da. Here comes the best part. They went to the middle of the field. She started screaming at him, saying, I'm not a side chick. I'm not a hoe. Why do you say this shit to me? And all of that. I was just like, oh, let me get my camera ready. Like, I was just like, ooh, bitch, you messed up. So he's just like, I never called you a hoe, and all this shit. When, in all actuality, yes, he did. He even called me a hoe. So he turned to me, saw that I was laughing. He went up to me and screamed at me, you did this. You ruined a perfectly good relationship. And I was like, I have had it. You dirty motherfucker. So I looked at him. I said, you whore. You are a girl whore. You flirt with girls. You hook up with them. And then you leave your girlfriends in the dirt. Like, you are a man whore. So he got all pissed at me for saying that. And I'm just like, I don't give two fucks anymore. I don't care. You can be pissed all you want. I don't care. You are a whore. And that continued on for next 3 days. Like, he was just livid at me. Like, he was pissed at me. I'll be back. But for the next couple of days, he was just pissed at me. And I turned to him one day. I said, you know what? You had your shot. You shot it. And then you let go. You shot your shot with me, and then you let it go. We could have had something great, but you let it go, and it's not my fault anymore. It's your turn to take responsibility for cheating on me and breaking my heart. And he was mad at that. He was livid at the fact that I said that. So one day, right before Christmas break, we had this little movie thing, and me and my friends were talking during the thing. It was a choice between movie or art. and talking with your friends. So me and my friends decided, you know what, we're going to talk to each other, because why the fuck not? So we were talking with each other and all of that. And he's sitting there, he's watching the movie. He turns around, sees me and my friends talking, sees me sitting right behind him with his friend Aiden next to me. And he goes, "Oh, look at this. The little hoe has a new boyfriend." Like, he straight up called me a hoe in front of teachers and in front of my friends. And then he turned back around. We continued our conversation. My friends brushed it off and said, you know what, he's just jealous and all of that. And Aiden and I were best friends at the time. He had a crush on me. So me and my friends just continued talking. He was mad at the fact that we ignored him. So he turned back around and he said all this shit about me. I don't even remember what he said. And then he turned around again. I brushed it off again, thinking, you know what? He's just mad that I don't give two fucks about him anymore. And then he remembered the fact that I told him. I told him that one of my uncles committed suicide. So he turned around and said, you know what? You should be in the heavens with your uncle. If you were dead, everybody else would be just fine and dandy. And I bet you this, nobody would care and nobody would notice if you just went up and killed yourself. And that hurt me because I was dealing with suicidal thoughts at the time. Yeah, trigger warning, suicidal thoughts. I was dealing with suicidal thoughts and I was losing friends, finding out that my friends were fake and all of this. So I was crying. And I started to have a panic attack. At that moment, Aiden started defending me. He said, you know what, Corbin? You're just being a prissy little asshole and deciding to hurt everybody else around you. I'm going to go report you to the vice principal because that is technically threatening a student. And at that moment, it caught one of my teacher's attentions. She was just like, what? Who's threatening a student? What? And she noticed that I was on the floor having a full-on panic attack. Crying, searching for stuff, cussing at myself. And then she turned to Aiden and he told her everything. How Corbin was being a prissy little bitch about me, not giving two fucks about him. How I was dealing with suicidal thoughts, because he was like the only other one that knew that I was dealing with suicidal thoughts. And I had thought about cutting at that time as well. Yeah, trigger warning, self-harm, suicidal thoughts, all of that. And she came over to me, she comforted me, and then she told Corbin off. She straight up let him have it. And he was pissed at Aiden, who was one of his friends. He was super pissed at Aiden for telling a teacher on him. Me and Aiden continued to talk. We continued to be friends and all of that. Aiden decided to tell me one day, I have a crush on you. And I said, I'm so sorry, but I just see you as a friend. I don't see you like that. Is it okay? And he was just like, yeah, that's perfectly fine. I kind of knew you were gonna say no, so I just decided to tell you anyways. It's just like, oh, okay, that's good. Corbin overheard. He didn't hear that I said no. and I rejected him. Corbin came running back to me, crying and saying, "Oh, I miss you, baby. I miss you. I cared about you. Why are you going off and running around with my best friend and all of this when you could have me?" And I'm just like, you shot your shot, you missed it. And now you're coming back crying to me because I rejected your friend and you misheard. I see I dated a dumb fuck. Well, I got his ex-friend Ace on my side, who, by the way, Ace did not acknowledge my existence for a long time. And all of that. My teachers thought that I was diagnosed with anxiety because of that day. Like, all of my teachers thought that I was diagnosed with anxiety and all that shit. So they let me sit by my friends and let me talk to them and all that. But as soon as I was off topic with shit, and I started, like, talking about anime and all of that, or anime, as most people say it, then they would say, nope, that's off topic. You do not get to talk about that. Move. Well, one time in science class, this one kid, not Corbin, but one of Corbin's friends, started provoking me and started saying all the shit that Corbin was saying to me, calling me a disappointment, a disgrace, and all of that. So I started to have a panic attack. Well, this one kid, bless his soul, Wyatt, he saw that I was provoked. He told this kid off. Like, he didn't yell, per se, but he told him off. And he came over towards me and he said, "Hey, are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he was just like, "Okay, but if you ever need anything, or if someone's provoking you and I'm next to you, just know that I will tell them off." I'm like, "Okay, thank you. But again, I'm fine. I don't need help." And all of that. And I moved over across the way, closer to the teacher and all of that, so then I could get my thoughts straight and not think about killing myself. So all of that shit went down last year. Well, when I had gym class one day, trigger warning, suicide attempt, suicidal thoughts, and all of that. So trigger warning, I'm sorry. But, yeah. So, all of that went down last year. Well, halfway through the year, my aunt Shantae, hi honey, if you end up seeing this, she had a birthday party. My biological father, Roger, was invited. And my grandparents already knew that I wasn't going to be there. They already knew that I wasn't going to be there. I wasn't planning on being there and all of this. But my mother even knew that I wasn't going to be there and all of that. So I had nothing to fear. And my mom does not like my biological father's side of the family at all. She absolutely fucking hates them. So I'm just having a fine dandy day up in Denver with my aunt and my non and all of those humans. I'm just having a fine dandy day. Well, next thing you know, there's pictures posted of my biological father being at my Aunt Shantae's birthday party, my cousin Shantae's birthday party, and I'm not able to see my grandparents anymore. because my mother cannot trust them. Because my mother could not trust them. They knew that I wasn't going to be there. We even argued about it most nights. We argued about it and all of that. And I even yelled at her saying, they knew that I wasn't going to be there. You knew I wasn't going to be there. Yet, you're still taking away my right to see them because of something that I wasn't going to be at. And oh boy, was she pissed at me for that. So fast forward 3 weeks later, I'm still not able to see them. I'm struggling with identity issues, suicidal thoughts, self-harm thoughts, and just feeling like shit in general. But I didn't let those thoughts and all of that get me down until this one day. I think it was like a Thursday. Mind you, this was all before COVID. So it was like a Thursday. At school, I had gym class. I was in gym class. We were playing dodgeball as per usual. And I had this grand idea that, let's pretend this is a jersey, that if I take a jersey and I wrap it around my neck like this, and then tighten it so much like this that I could choke myself out and kill myself. I held it there till I felt like I was gonna pass out. One of my friends saw me, stopped me, and she, bless her soul, she struggled with depression. She struggles with depression. She struggles with self-harm. I struggle with self-harm. She struggled with suicidal thoughts and all of that. And she told me that killing myself wasn't the right decision and that I was in the wrong for trying to kill myself and all of that. And I started to have a panic attack. My friend Aiden came up to me and gave me this big old bear hug until I calmed down. Well, I calmed down, I explained to them why, and everything was fine and dandy. I never told anyone about this attempt and all of that. Fast forward, let's say at least all the way up until 3 weeks before the end of the school year, my ex, Corbin, he and I were talking and all of that. This is when me and my friend, let's call her Midoriya. Me and my friend Midoriya are dating. So he started making fun of me for being queer. Let's say it's clear that I was queer, even before I started dating him. And even before I made my friends. So me and I don't know their pronouns anymore. I'm just gonna call them by the she, her pronouns. So